Welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews. Don't do unboxings, but we might do a few playthroughs next year if we can be asked. But that's for another day. Today, we're going to be talking about our top 100 board games of all time, like we've been doing all the way through December up to this point. This is numbers 40 down to 31. Did you get lost whilst trying to find the M27? I'm assuming you did, because you're still here. So remember, if your top 100 board games aren't on this list so far, that's because they might be on this list during or after this episode, or we might just have not played them, or we might think they're complete and utter fucking dog shit. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel with the like button and all that YouTube bullshit. See you after this. Bollocks. So number 40 on the list of our top 100 board games of all time is a classic Thailand game from 1999 that nobody can remember who designed it. It's a game called Carcassonne. Recently, I've been playing this a hell of a lot with my kids. Yeah, I've been playing it so much that I suppose any ordinary person would be suffering from burnout, yeah, but it just makes me want to play it even more. In Carcassonne, you'll be drawing a tile from a stack and you'll be trying to match different types of terrain like fields or cities or roads, and then you'll choose whether or not to place a meeple on one of those features, and that will score you some points. Yeah, Carcassonne is such a simple idea. I don't know what it is about it. I think it's the fact that you watch this landscape grow before your very eyes, and I just imagine myself running around these little cities, yeah, like robbing people and terrorizing the elderly in a medieval robe or something along those lines. Yeah, so yeah, Carcassonne, it's one of the best Thailand games ever made. Yeah, it's one of the best board games ever made, and it's one of the best gateway games. So if you know anybody that wants to play games but they're a bit worried about getting stuck into some fucking GMT coin crap, give them a copy of Carcassonne for Christmas and watch their eyes light up like the first time they saw John Holmes. So number 39 on this list is a wonderful two-player game that is based on the Cold War era. It is a game called Twilight Struggle. In this game, one of you is going to be taking on the role of the nasty little United States, and the other player is going to be taking on the role of the heroic Soviet Union. You'll be trying to bring different countries in different regions under your sphere of influence. Yeah, you'll be trying to be the first geezer in space. Yeah, as history seems to repeat itself, first as tragedy, secondly as farce. You'll be trying to avoid the prospect of nuclear war like we're trying to do at the moment, right? Especially in this fucking room. So yeah, Twilight Struggle, it's a card-based game where you'll be playing cards to take different actions. Yeah, and whilst the timeline doesn't really sort of line up in a logical way, and there are some anomalies with the rules, it's one of the best thematic two-player games you can get. And I suppose it does help if you've got an interest in that era. But yeah, Twilight Struggle, one of the best two-player games and one of the best thematic games about the Cold War that you can get today, right? So I can't remember these fucking numbers. Number 38 on this list is a worker placement game that we've had since it first come out, and we are still playing it today, and that is Lords of Waterdeep. In this game, you'll be taking on the role of people that work for the Lords of Waterdeep, and you'll be hiring adventurers to go out on quests to give you victory points. Yeah, you'll be doing this by going to different locations and taking different actions, and it does work best if you get the Scoundrels of Skullport expansion. That is a must. It's a must-have thing for this game. Yeah, it's just a shame that they haven't released any more expansions in the last 8 years or so. Could do with a little bit more content for this one where we've been playing it so much, but it's still in print. Lords of Waterdeep, one of the best worker placement games that you can get. I just don't know what it is about this game. It's just something about the way it looks that is really compelling. The gameplay is so simple, and it's got nothing to do with 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, which is an added bonus. Yeah, so no X Factor triggering shit here. So number 37 on this list is a Kickstarter game that has infiltrated our top 100. We don't usually do Kickstarter. I was umming and erring about backing this one, but someone told me it was fucking fantastic, and I thought, you know what, my cat's died. I've got a few £100 to spare this year, so I'll just fucking go balls deep and just get the old lot. Yeah, it's Thunder Road Vendetta Maximum Chrome. Yeah, to be honest, I wasn't really expecting much from this. I'm not a big fan of restoration games. I'm not a massive fan of Rob Daviau. I think he's a bit of a knobhead, but they wowed the fucking pants off of me with Thunder Road Vendetta. Yeah, the vanilla game isn't that great, but if you add in all the extra shit that you get with a Maximum Chrome edition, the game comes alive. It opens up, and it's just a mental sort of Mad Maxian romp through some sort of post-apocalyptic game show fucking nonsense bullshit wank. How many profanities was that? I count 6. Any advance on 6? So yeah, in this game, you'll be racing along a track. You'll be trying to blow the shit out of other people. You'll be trying to avoid different hazards and obstructions and stuff. And if you've got the Carnival Chaos expansion, then you can turn that around and you'll get an arena where you'll be able to fight it out to get points or coins and shit like that. So yeah, stunning production. There's loads and loads of content. There's loads of different ways to play the game. You never really know what's going to happen because you've got super weapons and all that sort of stuff. We had the original Thunder Road. It is right there. And that was a load of fucking camel shit as well. But Restoration Games, God rest their soul, have done really well in re-implementing a piece of crap from the 80s and bringing it up to date and really sort of surprising me, which is bloody difficult to do these days, you know. So number 36 on this list is another worker placement game. Some people say that this is really similar to Lords of Waterdeep, but it's dissimilar enough to own both. It's Champions of Midgard. This is a worker placement game. You can put your workers out on the board to take actions, yeah, but the thing with this is that you'll be able to go on missions, and it's a dice chucking worker placement game, yeah, so you're going to be fighting your battles, rolling some dice, and you'll be able to mitigate the dice to sort of get them to do what you want, yeah. You're never really sort of at the mercy of a random die roll, yeah. Champions of Midgard had 2 of the best expansions available in the history of expansionism. Added loads and loads more stuff, yeah. I suppose it's just a shame in it that the other Midgard games just didn't really sort of do it for us, you know what I mean? The Reavers of Midgard, yeah, it was fine, but it just didn't have the same ambience as this one. Kind of made me feel sort of dead inside, you know. But yeah, I'm still celebrating the fact that Champions of Midgard exists. If you have got fed up of Lords of Waterdeep and you ain't played this one, then this is the next logical step up, yeah. So you really should be thinking about it, shouldn't you? Number 35 on this list is a game that some people have said it's just a fucking tech tree in a box, yeah. But it's a game called Beyond the Sun. In this game, you will be basically taking actions that will open up different cards in a sort of flow chart type thing. Yeah, I know it sounds absurd, but you're placing your little pawn onto an action space, taking an action, and that's going to allow you to move along the flow chart and open up different cards that will give you more actions, yeah. If you add to that the fact you've got a little economy on your main player board that you have to manipulate in order to open up these cards, then you've got a really compelling experience on your hands, yeah. It doesn't really look like much. It's just a bunch of white cards on a blue background, but the clinical nature of the game, the clinical aesthetic, does blend in well with the theme of the game. Yeah, it feels very robotic, very Android-like in its implementation, you know. So yeah, Beyond the Sun, suppose if you want to be a prick, then you can call it Tech Tree, the board game. It wasn't an expansion for this, but I think it added sort of a campaign thing or something that we weren't interested in anyway. It didn't add much more stuff. But yeah, Beyond the Sun is a really unique experience, and I would urge you to pick it up tomorrow. Well, today, depending on what time you watch this shit, you know what I mean? If you get up early, you're onto a fucking winner, aren't you? It's number 34 on this list of our top 100 board games of all time is a very simple war game that uses dice. It is 1812, The Invasion of Canada, yeah? This is a 5-player game, which works best with 5 players, funny old thing. Each of you is going to be taking on the role of a faction. You might be the American militia, you might be the British, you might take on the role of the Canadians or the Native Americans, or just the American regular forces. And you'll be vying for control of different forts on the Canadian-American border. You'll do this by playing cards to move your troops on land or over water, and you've got queues of different factions in the same space. Then you'll be rolling dice to have scraps. Yeah, it is that fucking simple, yeah. The game ends when certain cards in your deck have been played, so you never really know when the game's going to end. So you can't just sort of sit back and absorb artillery and all that sort of stuff. You've got to get stuck in straight away. But yeah, 1812, The Invasion of Canada, doesn't deserve to be this good, yeah, because it doesn't really look like much. It's just cubes on a map, you know what I mean? But there's just something about the ease and simplicity of the gameplay that makes this one of the best war games that we've ever played, and I'm not fucking bullshitting. Number 33 on this list is a game that is known as the granddaddy of area control games. It's a game called El Grande. This has just got a reprint, yeah, so if you've been after this for a while, I say it's just got a reprint. It was released again last year, but it's just got a reprint, so if you're after it, then there's no excuse to go and get it, is there? But in El Grande, you'll be shifting cubes around different areas of Spain. You'll be moving the king into different regions to stop things from happening. You'll be playing action cards that will allow you to manipulate these cubes, and in time for the scoring opportunities that are going to happen during various phases, right? If El Grande was released today, if it had never been released back in 1999, if it was released today, you wouldn't know that it was 25 years old. Yeah, it's that good. I haven't played the reprint, but I think it's been given a lick of paint. I'm not entirely sure whether they've done a good job or not. Maybe you could tell me in the comments down below what the differences are, if there are any. But yeah, El Grande, one of the, if not the best. Is it the best one? The jury's out on that. We'll see on the rest of this list, right? But yeah, El Grande, a classic, simple, streamlined area control game that you have to play at least once. Number 32 on this list of our top 100 board games of all time is a game based on a TV show from, when was it released? I don't know, 15 years ago or something. It's a game called Spartacus, a game of blood and treachery. And no, we're not talking about the reprint of Spartacus. We're talking about the original version with the screen grabs and all that sort of stuff, yeah? In Spartacus, you will be taken on the role of a dominus, a house in ancient Rome. You'll be hiring different slaves and gladiators. You'll be playing intrigue cards like Jupiter's cock, for instance, and you'll be trying to stitch up your opponents to get your gladiator into the ring, and then you'll have a scrap at the end of each round, and you'll be getting cash and points and money and all that sort of thing. The two expansions for this, the Serpent and the Wolf and something else, I can't remember what it's called, just added more stuff. Yeah, that's what this game needed. Added more cards, added more gladiators, added more domini with more special abilities. They re-implemented it and fucked it up. Yeah, they made it really cheap and nasty looking. They took out what made it great, and I just fucking hate it when games companies destroy games in the name of efficiency. Yeah, that sucks. Bring back the original Spartacus. It had so much theme, so much atmosphere, yeah, and it's just a fantastic backstabbing action game that I love to bits. Number 31 on this list of our top 100 board games of all time is another game by John D. Clare. It is a game called Ready, Set, Bet. Do you remember when you were little? You can't even remember fucking this day, can you? When you used to go down the arcade here and you had these little horse racing games that you put the money in and you had to bet on a horse and it just went like bip, 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 and then you never won fucking anything. That is what this game is, yeah? You can play this game with dice. Somebody has to sit out and roll the dice to move the horses, but there is an app that will do that for you, and I recommend that you do that, yeah? So you're going to have an app on an iPad or an iPhone or a fucking phone or whatever. The app will tell you which horses to move, and you'll be betting on different horses to come in first, second and third, and you'll also be able to bet on a variety of other things, yeah? The thing about this game is that each of the horses is going to move a different number of spaces. So some horses are going to move on a 1 to 2, which the probability of that happening is pretty slim, but if you bet on them, you're going to get more cash, right? Ready, Set, Bet is so exciting, yeah? Do you know what I mean? When you get to the end of the race, you're literally screaming out for your horse to come in first, like you would do if you spunked all your cash out of what Goodwood was saying, which I've never done. So yeah, if you like these fast-paced real-time betting games, yeah, then not that there's many of them, Ready, Set, Bet is a phenomenal achievement. So there you go. That is the next installment of our top 100 board games of all time. That was number 40 down to 31. There's 3 more of these left. There's 3 more pieces of cake that you're going to have to stuff down your gullet. Are you going to be able to stick with us until the end? You got this far, haven't you? So why the fuck not, yeah? Don't turn back now. Don't do a Lot's wife and turn into a fucking pillar of salt here. That would be a tragedy, yeah? Let's have a look what we got in the next one. There's some fucking cracking games in the next one, yeah? So don your Santa hat. Come back for the next installment and add a few of these games on your fucking Christmas list. All right.